Julia is physically abusing Vala.
That's a good one, eh? I don't see how that is possible.
I've been quiet far too long. I cannot allow this to happen on my watch.
You crazy old man. Unless it is a rope you're asking for, I suggest you shut up your mouth. You. Come here.
Ma Cultural Night is an event dedicated to showcasing and celebrating the rich cultural heritage of the Maasai people, an indigenous ethnic group in Kenya. At the heart of the festival are the models who strut their stuff with confidence and grace, showcasing the beauty and diversity of African beauty.
I'd love for people to know me as just a creative who is out here giving people good energy and good music and trying to document time and document history here.
She has taken her space in this industry. Now, right now, we are going to be getting a glimpse of her journey so far musically. Let's check it out.
Nadia. As she continues to make waves in the music industry, Nadia's star shines even brighter.
Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News. My name is Jackie Wambiru, bringing you the latest news updates. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. And now, remember, you can interact with us on our social media handle at KBC Channel 1. Now, to kick us off, Agnes Kalechenguna has assumed office as the Managing Director at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. During the handover ceremony, the new MD pledged to work with the staff and management to improve the service delivery as well as steer the broadcasting giant to great heights. Ms. Kaleche succeeds Paul Macharia, who has been the KBC Acting Managing Director. She also becomes the first woman at the helm of the broadcasting house. The immediate former Chief Operations Officer at the Star Publications becomes the 13th Managing Director at Broadcasting House, which boasts 2 television stations, 14 public service radio stations.
Supporters in creating a sustainable media ecosystem. We cannot fulfill this mandate on our own without your participation and feedback. I encourage you, the public, to engage with us, share your ideas, and hold us accountable. Your continued support and trust are essential to our success. We pledge to be transparent, accountable, and responsible in our operation, ensuring that our resources are utilized efficiently and effectively. Together, we can reemerge the role of KBC, ensuring that it remains a beacon of excellence, a champion of diversity, and a trusted companion for generations to come.
I am certain that her experience and leadership record in the Kenyan media industry will steer this giant corporation to greater heights. KBC possesses immense potential to be a market leader in Kenya's media sector, and I can certainly say it is in great hands.
As a board, we are really delighted that Agnes comes in at a time when there is huge opportunity in media, and particularly for the national broadcasting media, which, in the face of all other issues that currently confront media, is the one most prepared and probably most qualified to survive and do well.
Kenya Meteorological Department has cautioned Kenyans to brace themselves for increased rainfall in several parts of the country as a result of the effects of cyclone Iranian. Nairobi, Kisumu, Kisii and other island areas including Rift Valley are among areas that will be affected by the heavy rains. Tropical cyclone Iranian, which formed in the Indian Ocean south of Seychelles on Tuesday last week, moving at 35 kilometers per hour, gained strength over the weekend but is currently a severe tropical cyclone, but is expected to reduce in intensity beginning today.
According to the Cyclone Tracking System and climate scientists, Tropical Cyclone Iranian is expected to reduce in intensity beginning today when it will become a moderate tropical storm moving at a speed of 85 kilometers per hour. What is different between Tropical Cyclone Iranian and its sister Tropical Cyclone Hidayah is that its path is towards the equator and will move close to 3 degrees south before dissipating at a low speed of 55 kilometers per hour. The eye of the storm will not make landfall and will dissipate at sea as the anti-clockwise motion of the cyclone will encounter the Coriolis force and end up dissipating. This comes amid calls by Kenya Meteorological Department for Kenyans to brace themselves for increased rainfall as a result of the effects of Cyclone Iranian presently in the Indian Ocean. Several parts will be affected that include Kisii, Homa Bay, Nairobi and the Rift Valley region. Opito Chemtai for Lunchtime News.
In other news, President William Ruto has eulogized Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi as a fearless leader and a dedicated public servant. The late Raisi was this morning declared a martyr, with his death announced at the country's most important religious site, the Shrine of Imam Reza in the city of Mashhad. Iran's Vice President Mohammad Mokhber is expected to become the country's interim president before an election constitutionally takes place within 50 days of the president's death.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi died in a helicopter crash near Iran's border with Azerbaijan on Sunday. Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahi was also among those killed. A total of 9 people were reportedly on board. The wreckage of the helicopter was recovered Monday with no survivors. Contact had been lost with the aircraft on Sunday as it navigated fog-covered mountains in northwest Iran. Iran's Vice President Mohammad Mokhber is expected to become the country's interim president to organize presidential election that should take place within 50 days of the president's death. Raisi had been in Azerbaijan early on Sunday to inaugurate a dam with the country's President Ilham Aliyev. The dam is the third the two nations have built on the Aras River.
At least 250 graduates from the North Coast have completed short refresher courses that seek to help them advance their knowledge and transform the tourism industry to its best. Speaking during the graduation ceremony in Mombasa, Utalii College administration insisted on the importance of capacity building process, saying it will increase service delivery and place the country as a source of human resource to the rest of the world. The program has seen over 1,300 graduates refresh their knowledge in the past month in Nairobi and coastal region.
The last 1 month since March up to May, we have managed to graduate over 1,300 graduates, and we are still continuing with some in Nairobi. And we look forward to keep on playing this role as a college in transforming the industry to the best status of service delivery.
As a college, we aspire to make Kenya a center of excellence in terms of delivery of service, And we have programs coming up. We are increasing capacity at the college so that we can take in more Kenyans to get trained.
There are various MOUs between Kenya Utalii College and other stakeholders to ensure that the bigger problem about unemployment is dealt with. We have students who have gone into different hotels, and also we have students who have gone into the cruise ship industry. So unemployment is something that we're looking into, and that is one of the ways in which we have dealt with that.
Still on matters education, Kapchei North MCA Joseph Oluwesa has called on parents to take their time to visit their children in school to understand their problems and assess their performance in class. Speaking during Merisho School Form 3 Academic Day, parents who visited their children in school lauded the initiative by the management of the school to allow parents interact with teachers and their children in order to boost their performance and track the academic progress.
What kind of remedial actions or initiatives need to be taken on board, and where they are excelling, what they need to continue doing.
This was a very good interaction between the parents, the teachers, and the students. And what has happened is so much has come out so that we can have a deeper understanding of what our children are struggling with, where they are weak, where they are strong, and where we should come in as parents.
Leo sijakuja kama mbunge, niliweza tu kuja kama mzazi, na nataka tu kuambia kwamba hata the community at learn.
Moving on, residents of Mokema village in Laikipia County have teamed up to construct a bridge along the Mokema-Lailagwan road, claiming neglect by the authorities. The aggrieved locals say they have made several pleas to the government to construct the bridge, but in vain. The residents say they decided to construct the section of the road after culverts donated by a well-wisher remained dumped in the area for ages. They claim the road has for ages been used as a campaigning ground, with every politician promising to spearhead its construction.
Nasema hivyo kwa sababu kila asubuhi wazazi wanaamka, wanakuja kusidikisha watoto, at least wafukishe katika hii mto. Jioni tena wanaamkia wakuja wachukue watoto wao wafukishe wakienda nyumbani.
Tukaona tuchibe shimo hapa, tuweke hii makalafati hapa, iingie hapa, tuone kama hii shida yote yetu ya hapa itaisha.
And on matters environment, Kenyans have been challenged to seek the services of environmental experts on the right tree seedlings that are suitable for certain ecological zones. Speaking at the University of Eldoret during an annual tree planting day, the experts revealed that many seedlings usually fail to grow owing to unfavorable climatic conditions. They target to plant 130,000 different species of trees suited for specific landscapes.
This is very critical because as an educational institution, as a university, we are also doing research in environment and climate change. We have a partnership with KFS because we may not be able to grow this 130,000 for the next 5 years in the university. We are growing some in the university, but we are also planting in our forests identified by KFS.
And this year is when we want to start applying it. The purpose of this app is to be able to monitor the activities related to all that we are doing about climate change, especially tree planting.
We'll take care of this one.
Westlands Member of Parliament Timonyonyi has criticised the National Treasury's decision to scrap the 4.9 billion shilling budget allocated to the school feeding program. Speaking at the 37th birthday celebration of the Nairobi yearly meeting of Friends Church yesterday, the MP emphasised the key role the school feeding program plays in addressing food insecurity among school children. The decision outlined in the proposed budget estimates for the 2024-2025 financial year will affect approximately 4.5 million students who depend on the program for their daily meals.
You know, that man who is removing that program from the budget, he doesn't know he's actually destroying a generation of our children in some parts of this country. Some of those places, children go to school because of the food they'll have, and maybe that's the only meal they have. So as members of parliament, we are going to make sure that feeding program remains on that budget. In fact, if they remove it, we can now even throw out the whole budget. And the government will be in a crisis because without the budget, they will not function.
Still on environmental matters, the government has warned against illegal felling of sandalwood, sounding a warning to anyone who is found engaging in the illegal trade of the wood that they risk legal action. Following a Mayoral High Court order, sandalwood worth over 2 million shillings was banned outside the court. Led by Area Sub-County Commissioner Jackson Mutiso, residents were urged to desist from the illegal trade of sandalwood. Residents are, however, appealing to the government to be allowed to harvest and sell the wood for economic gain.
This trade of illegal sandalwood, and also we have enhanced patrols both inside the forest and outside the forest.
We decided to have it distracted, even though the case is ongoing. This is sending a message out there to those who deal with this illegal sandalwood that it is not good, and they need to do the right thing.
Kiangazi ilikuja ikamaliza kila kitu, so tunataka kutegemea ukulima. Tungeomba serikali itupatie permit. Njia ile tunaweza kutoa hiyo sandalwood, tuuze kwa njia ile serikali inajua, kwa njia ile tunaweza kupata hata kama ni njia mzuri itupatie mapato.
Today on My Culture, we bring you a story from the heart of Marsabit County, where over 20 women groups from the Rendille community have embarked on a journey to reclaim their endangered cultural heritage. Let's now delve into the details of this unique endeavor. In the heart of Marsabit County, a profound cultural renaissance is underway. Over 20 women groups from the Rendille community have embarked on a journey to reclaim their endangered language and heritage. Led by the Pastoralist People's Initiative, they have taken a bold step towards preserving their identity amidst the looming threat of extinction.
Rendille ni community kidogo sana kwa hii country yetu ya Kenya na nchi yetu ya Kenya, na ni community ambayo watu wengi huwa hata hawajawahi ona. Wengine wanadhani sisi ni Wamasai, wengine wanadhani sisi ni Wasamburu ama kabila nyingine, lakini kusema ukweli, Rendille ni community ambayo inajisimamia, ni community ambayo ina culture yake, ina lugha yake tofauti na ya Wamasai.
Under the stewardship of PPI, the women groups receive 50 acres of land from community elders for the establishment of a cultural institution and museum.
Sisi kama akina mama tumesema tunataka kuifufua ama kuhifadhi
mila hizi zetu, na ardhi hii itatumika kama cultural school. Katika hiyo Rendille Cultural School tutakuwa na pia exhibitions, tutakuwa pia na mambo ya kuonyesha chakula zetu za utamaduni na kazi zote ambayo akina mama wa Rendille wanafanya katika jamii.
Rendille elders perform a traditional blessing ceremony on the sacred land located at Loglogo, Laisame sub-county, their withered faces reflecting a profound sense of solemnity and purpose. The significance of this endeavor cannot be overstated. With over 75% of Rendille youth unable to speak in their native language, the specter of cultural assimilation looms large.
Tumekosa kitu inaitwa culture ya Rendille. Hakuna watoto siku hizi naenda shule. Hakuna kitabu mbabo naandikwa kwa Rendille mbabo watoto wasome. Hakuna wazee unaweza kutafuta culture ya Rendille watoto ajue kwao. Kwa hivyo lugha ya Rendille ameenda, amepotea. Kwa ya Rendille samana harusi kama tunafanya ona mila ya Rendille walikuwa tunafanya na harusi. Sasa hii hakuna, tumerudi lugha ya watu wengine.
Na hii tunajua ya kwamba itakuwa ni njia moja ya kuhifadhi mila yetu, itakuwa njia moja ya kuhifadhi utamaduni wetu, itakuwa njia moja ya kuhifadhi identity yetu sisi kama wa Rendille, na itakuwa pia njia moja ya kufungua maendeleo, kwa sababu tukiendelea hivyo niko na hakika tutaanza kudevelop hapa. Na
Margaret Super, the executive director of PPI, underscores the urgency of the situation, warning that without intervention, the rich tapestry of Rendille culture will fade into obscurity.
At least nambari kubwa sio vile tulikuwa kitambo, na tunataka kuweza kusimama kama community, tuweze kusikika, tuweze kujulikana, na pia dunia iweze kujua kwamba hata kama tuko watu wachache, lakini tunafaa kufahamika na kusimama kivyetu.
The impending inauguration of the cultural institution in August will mark the dawn of a new era for the Rendille people. A mega event, the first ever Rendille Cultural Festival, promises to be a celebration of resilience and heritage.
Food and Cultural Festival mwezi wa 8 tarehe 23, 4 na 5. Tunawakaribisha wote mje mjione Rendille ni kina nani. Najua wengine wametusoma kwa vitabu. Mkuje muone tuko na utamaduni wetu, utasherekea utamaduni yetu, tutasherekea chakula chetu, tutasherekea lugha yetu, na pia tutaweza kuweka archive ambayo itaweza kuonyesha watoto wetu kwamba tulitoka wapi na tunaenda wapi na tunaendelea aje.
As preparations for the inaugural Rendille Cultural Festival gather momentum, there is a palpable sense of anticipation in the air. For the Rendille people, this event represents more than mere festivities. It is a testament to their resilience, a reaffirmation of their identity in the face of adversity. Jackie Wambiru, My Culture. Retired Warrant Officer Thomas Kipkorir served in the Kenya Army for 39 years, attached to the mechanical department. He was part of the United Nations Peace Mission in South Sudan in 2005. Ben Troy Njue caught up with this veteran in his farm in Eldoret and filed this report for this week's edition of Military Tales.
Yeah, ndio tunafika. Sawa. We are here in Keses, actually from Eldoret to Keses, to meet one military veteran by the name of Thomas Kipkorir. Thomas Kipkorir served the Kenya Army for over 30 years. And I was on phone with him a moment ago, and he tells me that he is in his farm planting maize. So we are going to be helping him plant maize and file his story. Let's go. tunaingilia pale. We meet one Kenya Army veteran, Thomas Kipkorir, at his expansive farm in Eldoret, going about his duties of planting maize and tree seedlings. After completing his day's work, we take a tour of his farm as he tells us his journey as an army man.
Kaunti ya Nandi, former Nandi district. Na mwaka wa 1967 tukahama tukakuja Uasin Gishu upande ya Kapseret. Basi nikaanza masomo pale mpaka form 4 nikamaliza. Nikaenda chuo ya ufundi. Nikajifunza mambo ya mechanic. Hiyo ni wakati hiyo ni 1979. Basi na related nikaenda hiyo college ya ufundi. 83 mwezi wa 3 ukatangaza wanataka mfundi kwa jeshi. Nikaenda stadium. Tulikuwa wachache, watu wengi walikuwa hawajasoma hiyo courses. Nikachukuliwa tarehe 24 mwezi wa 3 1983. Basi kumaliza training yangu hapa RTS nikaenda Kahawa Garrison. Tukaingia masomo mengine ya kijeshi sasa. Baada ya hapo nikakuja Nakuru Lanet. 1984 85 nikarudi Kahawa. From there kutoka Kahawa tukahama tukaenda Nanyuki. Hiyo workshop tulikuwa nayo ikaenda Nanyuki. Inaitwa 42 field workshop. Nikakaa huko mpaka 93. Nikarudi tena Lanet, tiko workshop nyingine inaitwa 22 field workshop huko. Nikakaa huko mpaka 98. Nikapata promotion ya kwanza, nikapata koplo. Na nikapikwa transport battalion workshop. Ambapo nilikaa huko mpaka 2009. Nikatoka pale nikapewa promotion tena ya sergeant. Na nikapikwa transfer Isiolo 78 battalion. Nikakuja headquarter Kenya Army 2011. Nikakaa 2012, 13, 14 nikapewa promotion na nikabaki hapo tu. Nikapewa senior sergeant. Yeah. From there 2014 nikabaki hapo tena. Alafu tena nikapewa promotion ya O2, warrant officer 2. Na nikapika transfer nikakuja 81 tank battalion 2019. Nikapewa rank ya O1 na nikapostiwa 30 SF ambaye ilikuwa kapeti.
Huko kwa jeshi ulirudi ukajifunza kosi zingine zipi?
Huko shule inaitwa School of Electrical Mechanical Engineering. Ambaye unaenda unafanya conversion, unasomesha, unafanya grade class 3, unaanza 3. From there unakuja class 2 kwa same school. Alafu unaenda class 1.
Ni kazi gani unaweza ukasema ilikuwa na changamoto sana ama mission gani ilikuwa na changamoto zaidi?
Kazi ya jeshi haikuangi rahisi hivyo. Unajua watu wakiwa huko nje wanaona kama ni rahisi, mnakaa kwa kambi, lakini kazi ni mingi. Ukipata rangi ya kwanza ndio uruke ya pili mpaka uende course.
Na uweza kusafiri labda nje ya nchi ya Kenya kudumisha amani.
5 nilienda Southern Sudan. Kitu ya kwanza niliona huko sikuamini kama niko dunia. Kwa sababu watu ya huko hawatambui mtu mwingine kama ni binadamu. Wanasema ulikuja nchi yetu. Lakini hawa hawakuwa na amani. Lakini vile tulifika huko watoto wa mama walitushangilia sana wakipiga nduru. Wakisema mje msaidie sababu wamehangaika miaka mingi kwa mambo ya vita.
Kuna wale ambao wanajiunga na kikosi cha jeshi ama wale wanaohudumu kwa sasa. Ni jambo gani unaweza penda kuambia?
Kitu naweza kuambia vijana ya saa hii wakiingia kwa jeshi wajaribu kujisaidia kuinvest kabla hawajatoka huko, sababu ukitoka huko bila chochote itakuwa ni shida. Labda huko na watoto bado wako shule na una chochote.
Zile shughuli ambazo unajihusisha nazo sasa umestaafu.
Kwa saa hii najihusisha na mambo ya ukulima na biashara. Sana ukulima yangu ni ya unaona kahawa. Na usika na mambo ya kupanda ngano
naam,
na mahindi. Alafu niko kaduka kidogo ya spares ambaye naendesha pia.
Zaidi ya miaka 30 ambayo ulihudumu, unaweza ukasema ni mafunzo gani ambayo kikosi cha jeshi kilikufunza na hadi saa hii umeyadumisha?
Mambo ya nidhamu na mambo ya kuvumilia. Hata kama kitu ni mbaya namna gani mpaka uvumilie. For example kama kahawa hii mpaka unaona nimechukua mimi muda mrefu kabla sijaanza kukula.
Wale ambao wangependa kujiunga na vikosi cha jeshi, ni maneno gani unaweza penda kuambia ama wasia gani?
Jiunga na jeshi, kitu ya kwanza ambaye jeshi inataka ni kitu inaitwa discipline. Nilikaa kwa jeshi miaka 39 na siku 100. Na siku kaa na watu ya nyumbani. So ile discipline ilitoa jeshi ndio imenileta wapi? Nyumbani ndio tuingiane na wenye nilawaacha nyumbani. Mkienda for example kwa vita. Ukiumia mwenye atakubeba ni mwenye mnafanya naye ambaye ndugu yako ako mbali. Ni wewe na yeye sasa.
Wakenya wengi tunajua sisi tuna amani, lakini tumezingirwa na mataifa ambayo yana vita kama South Sudan, Somalia. Ni jambo gani unaweza penda kuambia Wakenya kuhusu amani?
Kitu ya kwanza ningesema, unajua hizi nchi imetuzunguka Somalia, imechangia insecurity nchi yetu. Kwa sababu hawa bunduki inatembea kiolela, si kama Kenya ambaye iko na discipline ya kubeba bunduki. For example hapa inapiganwa. Ukijaribu kukimbia mbele unaenda unakuta watu wanakimbia, utakimbia mpaka wapi? Kitu ya maana ni amani, ndio tupate kuishi na kufanya kazi zetu.
Naam. Na una familia na labda kuna watoto wako ambao waliamua pia wenyewe wajiunga na vikosi vya jeshi?
Niko na familia ya watoto ya bibi na watoto 4. Na hakuna mmoja ameingia kwa jeshi.
Naam. Ila wakati ambao hujihusishi na ukulima ambao tunauona hapa, ni mambo gani unapenda kufanya kutulia, kurelax?
Wakati ukulima iko chini kidogo, mimi niko kwa duka. Nimekwambia niko na auto spare. Sipendi mambo ya mpira sana, lakini wakaseti na TV napenda, lakini si vipindi mingi. Sunday siku ya kwenda kanisa.
Na pia nimeona wanajeshi wengi ambao walistaafu wanajihusisha na mambo mengi sana ya community. Je, unajihusisha na mambo yote ya community kwa kanisa?
Mimi ni chairman ya kanisa ambaye mimi nashiriki.
His message to Kenyans,
naweza kuambia raia hivi, kama wewe si mwanasiasa, wachana na siasa. Fanya kazi zako. Mtu asikwambie enda barabara ufunge barabara. Hakuna kazi utapata, lakini baadaye ukienda kukaa chini unaanza kushare madaraka, wewe uko nyumbani na umeumia.
He then plants a few more tree seedlings before we visited his shop and homestead where he keeps dairy cows. As we leave Kapseret, one can't help but notice the discipline these veterans have for the conservation of natural resources and the environment. For Military Tales, I'm Ben Troy-Njue.
Well, that report on Military Tales brings us to a fast break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
Surely boqol kun in la helo way adag tahay maanta xaaladda la joogo anaga dad Islaan baan ahay day noqoto deen oo interest leh runtii way nagu yar adag tahay inaan qaadno day shaqo intaad u kacdo boqol kun hal mar laga soo helayna ma jirto bil xaqiiq so the only way waxa way in relative oo xogaa dhaqaalahan ku yar dhaamo inaad ka soo burograyso ama ka soo qaadato.
I can get 100,000 like the way people are paying me after I take water for them. I can even put some small money and get that money, that 100,000.
maantadan hadii la yiraahdo 100 kun ka soo hel Allah gacantu soo gelin kara loo si weela baadag rabbi loo gacantu soo gelin kara البرص waxba la maaha illa waa 100 shilin baa helisa baad adag ba
inaad ku samayso business مثلا oo aad rabto inaad business bilowdo waxyaalaha lagu qaban karo waxaa inaad boodh iskaga gadato iskaga xamaalato ama ma ahe aad khudaar iskaga bilowdo vegetables wixii la midka ah
qolka kun hataa dib gacanta ii soo gasho oo ilaahay ii keen bacshari iyo wixii baan ku sameyn lahay oo bacshari baan gelin lahay oo inay kor u socoto inay aan isku diilaan waan bacshari baan gelin lahay bacshiradaas wixii nafaqaad oo laga soo dhaxay ilmaha iyo maartay anagii meeshii wixii ku nool baa yaa ku manaafici oo wax bay u qabani
It helps me to do a lot of things, starting from my basic needs. Half it will pay my level of masters if I'm going to study my master's class, of which I'm doing. Yeah, it will help a lot of things.
I can buy some, like something to repair my car. Also, I can buy some generator to push the water. And also, I can pay for my rents.
Nafanya kitu inaitwa cheyashi tiasi chivo Chicago ama chochina.
What do you have in your cuisine?
Mimi ndio nigo.
Leta lamb chops.
Tuna hiyo.
Mnaweza kukuna mwaka sangapi?
Mimi nasikia kupatiana vitu zangu. Labda upeane matatizo.
Gazi Thomas, kulikuwa na ng'ombe na mboi chipo, beef na milkshake. Ile manziwa unaweka kwa kimbuyu unangonga. Delay inafanyika kwa hivyo. Siana Gazi Thomas.
Nampe pesa 200 na simamia wiki mzima. Unataka kuua bibi yako na pesa? Come baby come.
Ilikuwa ni chos.
You old woman, eh? Open that stinky mouth of yours, and that sexy dentist of yours will be smiling at you next. Eh? This is serious issue we're discussing here. You just came here the other day, now shut up!
Not today. Today is not the day for drama. Today...
Julia is physically abusing Vala.
That's a good one, eh? I don't see how that is possible.
Have been quiet far too long. I cannot allow this to happen on my watch.
You crazy old man. Unless it is a rope you're asking for, I suggest you shut up your mouth. You. Come here.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. The proposed Finance Bill 2024 has elicited mixed reactions among a cross-section of leaders. While some express concern over the bill's alleged punitive effects on vulnerable citizens, others say the bill couldn't come at a better time with the current struggling economy that needs a boost from within.
To pass some taxes which will make you serve. No, even our president, a very hard-working man, my best friend, he cannot allow to increase tax. So for a commodity for a poor person, we will make sure that everything we do to promote our hustlers and our nation. That's what.
Women rep kitty, we have such little amount that cannot even help. Our effect cannot even be felt in the county. In my position as a women rep of Migori County, I only get 2.5 million to serve 40 wards. That is peanut. It cannot even serve one ward. But if they are serious, about affirmative action. It is not just about seeing skirt wearers in parliament, but it's about empowering us so that we can empower our community.
Was going to help all Kenyans. BBI. At that particular time, Rigathi Gachagua and the MPs of Mount Kenya angushed BBI. How come today they are coming back to tell us all the things that were in BBI? How come today they are coming to ask for 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling? We want to tell them, no. At that particular time, Nyanza region was only going to get 4 new constituencies. Mount Kenya was going to get over 20 constituencies. But because all Kenyans wanted a united Kenya, we wanted to pass BBI. But they refused. And BBI did not see the light of day.
Embu County Bar Owners Association has called upon the county government to fast-track inspection of their businesses so that those affected by the crackdown of illicit brews can resume business. The association chair, Abraham Gichovi, noted that only 1,000 bars have been inspected and cleared to continue operating. He said if the delays continue, revenue collection at the county level will be severely affected.
Tungeuliza watu ya inspection immediately waanze kuinspect hizo clubs ili watu waruhusiwe kufanya hiyo kazi. Wale watu ambao klabu zao hazikukubaliwa ni watu zaidi ya 800 within Embu County. Wale walikubaliwa ni kama 1000. Uchumi ya county ya Embu itaenda chini kama watu wengine watafungua klabu zao na wauzi pombe mbaya.
Kama kuna mmoja wetu ambaye atafanya biashara ambaye itasumbua shule ama anahusia watoto, huyo hatutakuwa pamoja na yeye. Sisi tunafanya kazi tukiwa kama timu moja na tutakuwa na self regulation. Ndio county government nao wawe wanatusikiza.
Kenya has improved 6 spots in the 2023-2024 Global Human Development Index ranking, 146th of 193 countries. The index, carried out by the United Nations Development Programme, ranks countries based on indicators such as life expectancy, education and per capita income. Kenya's life expectancy stands at 62.1 years.
UNDP's Human Development Index indicates that the country is doing well as compared to sub-Saharan countries, but not as well as other medium HDI countries such as Gabon, Namibia and Ghana. This is attributed to historical gaps in leadership of institutions critical to economic development in the country.
So what we have seen failing is actually an institutional failure problem, and also means that policy will have to fail. And that's where the gridlock starts actually.
CS for the National Treasury, Professor Njuguna Ndongo, opines that to bridge the gap in human development, the country must improve its resource mobilization to drive growth, building gains in recent reports of slowed inflation, GDP growth of 5% in 2023, and increased foreign direct investments.
But what we came up with now, a new thinking, was that strong growth will reduce poverty significantly. But it has to also to be supplemented by targeted social protection programs that will flatten inequality in the long term.
This year's HDI indicates further that in terms of resource mobilization, most Kenyans believe that the amount of taxes paid by the wealthy is just about the right amount.
We are comforted that in the case of Kenya, the Human Development Index value has moved up by almost 48% between 1990 and 2023. And I think that does give us pause for reflection.
The National Treasury now hopes to use the findings of the report to calibrate its economic planning towards the country's growth efforts. Alanaoko, Lunchtime News.
Deloitte East Africa tax and legal lead Frederick Omondi is concerned about introduction of motor vehicle circulation tax and a 16% VAT on financial services that he says will increase the cost of accessing the services. Omondi has welcomed a proposal to reduce the capital gains tax and called for expansion of the tax bracket.
Introducing eco-levy on these products is going to increase the costs, make them unaffordable to the local wananchi, and is unlikely to achieve what the government is trying to achieve at the end of the day. So the objective of this levy, according to the bill, is to compensate the government for costs incurred in trying to rectify some of these externalities.
The burden of taxation is becoming, unbearable to some extent, and that is either leading, households to reduce their spending, or even businesses incurring greater costs and becoming less competitive compared to their peers either in the region or globally.
With all the levies that could be introduced and their impact on business performance, business competitiveness, how do we compete with the rest of the region and even global companies? That means then there's pressure. What does that mean? If businesses are not doing well, they'll have to restructure.
Farmers in Kitui County have been urged to embrace modern-day beekeeping to benefit from the high global demand. Kitui County Executive Committee member for Agriculture Mbaya Kimwele has urged women and youth to explore beekeeping to enhance the quality and quantities of honey locally produced. Kenya is seeking to increase honey production as the demand for the commodity soars and prices improve.
Kenya is the third highest producer in Africa behind Tanzania and Ethiopia. The country produces 20,000 metric tons of the commodity despite the capacity to produce 5 times more than the current capacity. The government has been reforming the industry using the apiculture policy that targets to modernize the quality of hives, providing storage centers and securing markets for honey producers in the country. Kitui County Executive Committee member for Agriculture Mbaya Kimwele has urged women and youth to explore beekeeping to enhance the quality and quantities of honey locally produced.
And we need our crops to be pollinated. So we need to advise our farmers and the people from Kitui County, we avoid deforestation, cutting down of trees. We need to make sure you use pesticides the right way, because misuse of pesticides and using it when you are not being advised, it would cause to death of bees.
As Kenya joins the world in celebrating this year's World Bee Day, which is commemorated every 20th May, the government says it will help beekeepers adapt modern keeping techniques in a bid to boost production of honey in the country.
Kwamba kama ni mandawa waangalie, hata kuna ndawa za kienyeji. Kuna ndawa za kienyeji, kuna mtu mmoja unaitwa Ibwenye.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Construction of a 2 million kilowatt floating and the largest offshore solar project has officially commenced in China. The solar project is expected to save around 680,000 tons of standard coal and reduce carbon emissions by 1.77 million tons annually. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the globe.
The project is currently the largest three-dimensional layered sea-based solar farm in China, with an approved area of about 1,867 hectares. Its offshore section comprises solar power generation, with the generated electricity transmitted to an onshore substation via an overhead corridor bridge and then fed into the state grid after voltage adjustment. The onshore energy storage project is in its final construction phase and is expected to be completed and operational by the end of next month. Once built, the PV project will connect with the 8 units of the Tianwan nuclear station to become a 10 million kilowatt mega green energy base. Meanwhile, participants in the United States multi-million-dollar securities markets face an early test of their ability to cope with the regulatory reforms to speed up trade settlement. As a major index rebalance scheduled to occur just days after the planned switch risk, causing a spike in failed trades. During the last rebalance, average global volume spiked 120% in what was a 47 billion trading event across both developed and emerging markets. In the US, those volumes rose 199%. Faster settlement will make markets more efficient, but foreign investors will have less time to recall their US securities and gather the dollars necessary to trade. Designed for investors of all levels, the platform provides access to trade Bursa securities and Bursa derivatives alongside US-listed stocks and exchange-traded funds via the Webull Malaysia app. Its entry into the local market aims to promote growth and participation from retail investors in the local stock exchange. As of the first quarter of this year, local retail investor participation in the securities stood at 22%, while participation in the derivatives market stood at 17%. Lauren Chepchirchir for Lunchtime News.
And in the sports arena, World 800 meters silver medalist Emmanuel Wanyonyi continued with his Diamond League winning streak by winning the Rabat meeting in Morocco last night. Wanyonyi won his race in 1 minute, 43.98 seconds, and will also be heading for the next meet, the Prefontaine Classic in Eugene this weekend.
Emmanuel Wanyonyi pulled away from the field that included Commonwealth Games champion Wycliffe Kinyamal and Olympic champion Emmanuel Correa. The 19-year-old cut the tape in a time of 1 minute, 43.98 seconds, ahead of Kinyamal, who settled for second place. Yanis Mezian completed the podium as the reigning Olympic champion Emmanuel Correa finished 9th in the race.
Go backwards really in treacle there, but Wanyonyi holds on, 1:43.84.
In the men's steeplechase, Amos Serem finished in third position in 8 minutes, 10.82 seconds, in a race won by world champion Sufyan El Bakali. Ethiopian Gesnet Wale finished second. In the women's 5,000 meters, Edna Jebitok finished third behind the Ethiopian duo of Elsa Medina and Tesfaye 14. Jebitok clocked a new personal best time of 14 minutes, 35.64 seconds. In the men's 1,500 meters, Vincent Kibet was the sole Kenyan athlete and finished last in 3 minutes, 46.75 seconds. Rora Mwangi reporting for Lunchtime News.
8:09.40, the third successive year.
Team Warsaw were crowned champions of the first edition of the Chairman's Scrabble Club's Invitational Championship that took place over the weekend. The event attracted 8 teams, with the winners bagging a total prize of 70,000 Kenya shillings. The 8 teams participated in the Battle of Wits in a culmination of 21 games in which Team Warsaw, who boast of senior players in the country, Gitonga Nderito, Manasi Otieno and Dr. Litunya, led from the start to the end. Team Steamer and Gigs came in second and third respectively. Max Verstappen held off late pressure from Lando Norris to win the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. The Dutchman reclaimed his spot on the top step of the podium, while Ferrari's Charles Leclerc rounded up the podium places in third.
Underway! It was an even start for the top five off the grid, with reigning champion Max Verstappen opening a comfortable advantage to Britain's Lando Norris, closely followed by the two Ferraris and teammate Oscar Piastri. The midfield battle hotted up, with RB's Yuki Tsunoda pitting a lap before Nico Hülkenberg and overtaking him with his fresher tyres. The pair stuck close in a crucial battle for the last available World Championship points and found their way past Logan Sargent with two magnificent overtakes.
If he's going to try and stay with the Japanese driver, he'd have to be inventive, and he was.
Drivers struggled to find a rhythm, with uncharacteristic mistakes from Sergio Perez going off at turn 17, Lewis Hamilton, who found the gravel at Acqua Minerale, and Charles Leclerc, who went straight at turn 15. As the laps ticked down, Lando Norris turned up the wick, pushing his McLaren to the limit as Verstappen began to struggle. The Brit squeezed every bit of performance out of his car to get within a second of the Dutchman, but it wasn't enough.
He told us he was pushing DC, and we saw that he's absolutely wringing the neck of that car.
Once again, Max Verstappen proved why he's the man to beat, a superb performance to extend his championship advantage. All eyes are set on the crown jewel of the F1 calendar this weekend, where Max Verstappen will look to claim a third famous win on the streets of Monte Carlo. For Lunchtime News, I'm Emmanuel Ndungu.
Brilliant drivers battling.
The Minnesota Timberwolves defeated defending NBA champions Denver Nuggets 98-90 in their deciding game of Western Conference semifinal series. Timberwolves will play the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Trailed by 20 points at one stage in the third quarter, but later staged a comeback to win Game 7 and take the series 4-3. Karl Anthony Towns and Jaden McDaniels both scored 23 points for Minnesota. Jamal Murray scored 35 points for the Nuggets, and teammate Nikola Jokic added 34 points as the defense of the title came to an end. Timberwolves will play the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years. Meanwhile, in the other game of the playoff series, the Indiana Pacers also progressed to the finals with a 130-109 win against the New York Knicks in their Eastern Conference semi-final series.
Corner three is good.
Haliburton scored 26 points for the visiting Pacers, setting an NBA playoff record by shooting 67.1% from the field. The Indiana Pacers will face Boston Celtics in their Eastern Conference final.
Many of them playing in their first playoff series have that
Alexander Solov scored 4 goals for Villarreal to battle back from behind and earn a 4-4 draw at home to La Liga champions Real Madrid. Joselu and Vasquez scored 1 goal each, while Ardagola added a brace for Madrid. In other matches, Atletico Madrid lost 4-1 to Osasuna, while Pedri scored a brace for Barcelona in their 3-0 victory over Vallecano. Relegated Granada and Almeria registered a 2-1 loss to Celta Vigo and 2-2 draw to Mallorca respectively, while third-placed Girona defeated Valencia 3-1 away.
Fall short of Europe. The fact that going to fall short off. Brahim Goulet opens up for him. 1-0. There he goes to Lucas Vazquez. Decent cross and the second goal. Bios, who loses out to Mosquera. Now Solar pulls one back. The box for Goulet. Can he finish? Yes, he can. He made it. Gerard Moreno. Nice cross. Solar has another header. Trapped by Valverde. Back to Moreno and Solar. Another.
Wants it on his left foot. Chips it up over the top. Robert Lewandowski. Tiptoes in the box. Still going. Joao Felix can't finish it. Pedri. Speed on display on the other end too. Pedri. Ball headed forward again, and there is the... Thinks about the cross, plays in the cross, the header, shout for handball, it's saved on the line, but... Sam Molina now in the box, plays it across for Morata! Now plays the cross down low,
They're looking for their 4th goal as it's hit first time. What a goal there! Worthy winners on the night in the capital.
Well, on that note, that brings us to the end of our bulletin right here on Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Len Saudingo. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.